Hi, and welcome back to Shruti Outloud podcast. As you know, we are here to talk about way of life, and we keep bringing you stories that are there to inspire you, to motivate you, to sometimes even answer your questions. So today we have somebody who is, I would say, a story of resilience, of love, and of boundless determination. Today's story is a story of a mother and her journey of learning, unlearning, and basically just creating a life which inspires, which gives her peace and a lot of love. Okay, so today joining us is Rekha, a proud mother to Anshul, a young man with Down syndrome who has achieved incredible milestones and continues to inspire everyone around him. Rekha's journey is one of triumph over challenges and is a testament to the power of a mother's love. So let's welcome Rekha. Welcome, Rekha ji.
Thank you so much, Shruti. In fact, the introduction that you gave and the thing that you spoke, it made me emotional because it brought back so many memories of 23 years. And I never expected it to start on an emotional note, but everything comes back as a flashback. So thank you so much. And I think it's a proud moment for me to be a part of the podcast and something that I always wanted to do. Always wanted to write a novel for Anshul and my journey with him. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Rekha ji, I think the fact that you are here today to talk about your journey of 23 years, and I am sure a lot of people who have children with special abilities, they are going to relate with it, and possibly the way you just said that a lot of emotions also come back. So let's just take this discussion ahead, and I am going to take you back to the moment when you first held Anshul in your arms, when it became that moment for you that yes, you were a mother.
Yes. So, as you said, the flashback goes back to 27th of May 2001, when I became a proud mother of a lovely son. And we didn't know about it at that point of time that he's a Down syndrome child. It was just that he was born 1.9 kilos. And I just thought one of those where the children are undernourished and my liver wasn't functioning. We just took it that way. But in the fifth month, when I went for my gynecologist appointment, and the doctor asked me that he's not holding his head and how is he, and as always, as a protective mother that we all are, we always want to defend our child. And I said, no, he's, I think, just a little lazy because by then
Yeah.
he had become quite plump and a bubbly child. And so I said, just one of those things is lazy. He says, no, ma'am,
Mhm.
there's something wrong. And why don't you get your husband along? So I said, I don't think there's something serious. आप मुझे बता दो. So he said, no, you come with your husband. So
Okay.
from there itself, I went to another doctor, the pediatrician, and I asked him. And I still remember keeping Anshul on his table and, making him sit there. And I said, what's wrong with him? He didn't take a minute to tell me there's something wrong. It's a genetic
Mhm.
disorder. And
Okay.
I, being a science student, we study about it. We know what it is. We know we've done a lot of practicals, theoretical classes. We meet a lot of children, and I've been a teacher. So, but till the time the thing doesn't strike you personally, you can't relate to it and you cannot understand what it is. So he
Right.
told me his Down syndrome, trisomy 21.
Mhm.
My first thing was, is it curable? Knowing very well, being a bio student, that it's no
Right.
genetic disorder is curable. But
Right.
still, as a mother, you always feel, कोई भी बीमारी हो, I'm sure the way the advancement in technology, but he says,
Mm.
no, there's no cure. And I remember coming to Dr. I.C. Verma and Sri Gangaram in those days, 2001. And he said, no, everything will be delayed. So my thing was like, as a mother, delayed है fine, but he'll do it.
Yeah.
And there was not so much of awareness what it is today. People aren't aware about a lot of things, and it is. I can tell you a lot of things, but till the time you see the child actually, you cannot relate to it, and you do not know what trisomy 21 is. I didn't know about it, so that
Right.
is how it was.
So going back to again the till the time that you did not go to the doctor, did it even occur to you, even just maybe a little bit, that maybe something is maybe something is not right, maybe subconsciously or anything at all. Because being a mother, obviously you sort of, on one hand, you kind of also know it, but at the same time you also know that no, there is sort of, there's a fight going on within your head. So did something like that happen in the early months itself before the
See,
doctor said
Shruti,
anything?
he's my second son, I mean, my second born child. So, what
Hmm.
happened was, I was so busy bringing up my elder one also in the meanwhile, and he
Right.
had been neglected because of Anshul's birth, that I started focusing on my elder one's study and everything. So, it never, or might be, I never wanted to see what
Hmm.
was being shown to me. So,
Right,
something like,
right.
you see a lot of things, but you don't accept them.
Yes, yes,
So,
yes, yes.
I never accepted it, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I never thought on those lines ever that I would have a child like this. So I
Hmm.
thought that might be ऐसा ही होता होगा. And
Hmm.
I had forgotten how in your firstborn, you're very conscious about teeth, hair, nails, and body, and ears, and everything. But
Hmm.
with the second child, you say, let it go with the flow. So I never
Yes, yes.
focused on it. It's only when the doctor told me about it. And I still remember coming back with him in the car.
Hmm.
And honestly speaking, I was wondering what to do to take him out of my life, because he was the only hitch in my, or the only I should say, the speed breaker in my life. So I never realized it, and I never saw, or I suppose, like what I said to you before, I never wanted to see it.
Right. So after that initial time, how did you really process this? And how much time did it take for you to be in that place? Ki, okay, so it is what it is. And now we need to sort of, plan and see it accordingly.
Okay, honestly speaking, I wouldn't bluff but say it bluntly in front of everyone. I have not accepted it till now that he's a Down syndrome child.
Mm-hmm.
I have, this is something like, how do I handle him? I handle him like any other child. How I handled my elder one.
Yeah.
And I take it fine. There are a lot of children who don't do well academically. TK is not studying. Fine. So I haven't accepted. And it's only now, when people say, oh, he's looking different. As it is, till the time he doesn't speak, he looks different. But
Hmm.
otherwise, yes, he's okay. He's normal. Look at him. He does everything. He's very smart. And I have always seen the positives in him. I have never been able to see the negatives. I never allowed myself to see the things that he's not studying academically, or
Right.
he's not able to learn these things, what other children do.
Yeah.
So I never had any expectations out of him. So I don't think I saw anything wrong in him. And I treat him like how I would have treated. And somehow,
Right.
as a mother, you all have expectations that, my son is going to do this in life, my son is going to do this in life. So from the very beginning, I thought of focusing on things that will make him happy, and the things that he's focused on, or the things that he can do easily. Never thought on those lines at all. And even now, like I said, no,
Yeah.
he's just
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
son.
Absolutely. So I think the thing that you sort of, did differently, either knowingly or unknowingly, was that you did not really draw any comparisons with any other kid.
I
Or
didn't even draw comparison with my elder son.
right,
There was no
right,
competition. It's like whatever he is learning, let him learn. If he doesn't
right.
learn, fine. And Shruti, surprisingly, that confidence of mine to be treating him like a normal child got
Mhm,
on him very fast in life. Because
mhm.
if now, also, if he can't do anything at this age, he doesn't feel that it is he who can't do. He feels it's the other person who can't understand. I'm fine.
Right, right. I
So
think that
that is
really,
how he feels. He
yeah.
There are so many times he cannot communicate. So he
Mhm.
comes and tells me, Mama, this person cannot understand what I'm speaking. Why don't you explain? I think there's something wrong with that person. So
Right,
that's the
right.
kind of confidence he had, because I never allowed him to feel that he was different.
Yes, yes. I think that made a lot of difference, Rekha ji. I really think, because the way you are explaining it, that he doesn't think that something is, that he is not able to make other people understand. It's possibly they are not able to understand it. So
Yes, yes.
that really did make a lot of difference. Okay, so Rekha ji, so what were the immediate challenges on this unfamiliar path, that for the initial, obviously when you started off this, the journey of having a child who has Down syndrome? Because I don't
See,
want to.
first,
Yeah.
I would say, Shruti, every day was a challenge. Even
Hmm.
today, I say, even today, I would not say that fine, everything is smooth sailing. No. Even
Yeah.
today, we talk of inclusion, we talk of awareness, we talk of acceptance. No, it hasn't come in even today. And the biggest challenge was to explain it to the family what it is. And a person who was explaining was a mother. So talking about him, talking about, for people asking me questions that why is he not doing this? Why is he not doing this? And why you only? Or why is it that, why don't you show it to the doctor? Why don't you find a cure for it? So there were a lot of challenges. And as far as bringing up Anshul was concerned, holding his head, holding things, the first step, everything that we talk of in the normal journey might be the child takes his first step at the age of 1. He took his first step at the age of 10. So it was a long journey. It was like you say that, okay, fine, wait, you'll get something. But the wait was very long. His first words, his stunted growth, his not able to talk or say mama, ma. So everything was so delayed. So everything was a challenge. And at the same time, getting people to understand that I need help.
Hmm.
I need emotional support more than any kind of other support. And nobody wanted to talk about it, not
Hmm.
realizing that even I want somebody to sit with me and talk and ask me, like what you're asking me today, that
Yes.
how's your journey? How are you handling it? That wasn't there at all. And even today, nobody's ever actually, like when you're asking me, nobody's actually asked me that how has it been? How have you handled it?
Yeah.
It was fine, ho raha hai, theek hai, koi baat nahi. She's managing it. And in our society, or suppose it is very easy to criticize. You must have done something wrong. That is why God has blessed you with a child like this. That's it. Instead of helping or holding your hand.
Yes.
But of course, what happened or what the awareness was in 2001, we are
Hmm.
definitely a step ahead in 2025. Definitely.
Right. 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 I think, Rekha ji, the thing that you mentioned now, that nobody asks. I think people are very uncomfortable talking about these things because they just don't know. They just don't know how to talk about it. They think, oh my god, nahi kuch, it might, something right wrong might come out of our mouth or something. They just don't know how to initiate the conversation. So instead of making it like, a normal conversation, they just sort of prefer to, let's not, let's just not.
And then, yes, like what you said, yes, people, like, of course, even I now, what you said helps me understand that people do not know how to handle a tragedy. So even we do not know how to handle or speak about it. But sometimes we actually want somebody to sit with us, hold a hand, take us out for a coffee, or might be somebody could just say that, Rekha, today I'll keep your son for 2 hours. Why don't you go just relax or take a spa?
Yes.
Nobody was there. Like,
Yeah.
you also need a break from the journey. And why don't we help you out? So, but that way, like I said, my elder one has been a biggest support that I've had in this journey because
Hmm.
he understood how it was to handle him. I suppose boys don't speak much, but they see and they understand. So he was my biggest strength, where he actually would so many times tell me, Ki, Mama, leave him with me and you go.
Hmm.
I'll speak with him. Even today, it is for Anshul, it is Bhai said this.
Hmm.
So he always, younger one always wanted to be like the elder one.
Yeah.
So in that bargain, he definitely was in a better position. And this is where I realized the sibling plays a very important role.
Yeah.
I cannot become what, the sibling can do, the mother
Hmm.
cannot do. And what a mother can do, the sibling can't do, but sibling has its own very important role in the special child's life.
Absolutely. What is the age difference?
5 years.
Okay. Okay. All
But when
right.
they fight, Shruti, they like fight like any normal brothers. Any
Yes.
normal brothers would do. And they have their own jokes.
Uh-huh.
So,
Uh-huh.
yes, they fight like any other people. And they both are very particular about how you're looking and,
Yeah.
So they are like normally how the normal households are. They're like any
Yeah.
other normal two brothers.
Right, absolutely. The sibling, the sibling love and sibling that the way you just said it, that they have their own secret language and all of that.
Yes.
So that is universal. So it doesn't really, that. And I think as kids, all you really see when you're growing up is that, okay, so this is my elder brother or this is my younger brother. Because I don't think so kids think like that. Like your elder son, he wouldn't have seen Anshul ki acha nahi, like the other everybody else in the society would be there, questioning and this that. But for him, he's just my younger brother.
Yes. And surprisingly, my elder one's friends were his very good friends.
Hmm.
So the girls would come and meet him more because Anshul is a very nice, fair, bubbly, and
Yes.
a very coochie coochie kind of a child. So the girls would love to come and coochie coo him and all. And
Yeah.
Anshul enjoyed all the attention that he got. So there was a
Yes.
lot of acceptance, and there was an advantage that I feel that Anshul had was he had an elder brother.
Hmm.
So he always looked up to him
Right.
and always wanted to be like him. So,
Right.
when I look back, a lot of things he learned during his journey, just wanting to be like his brother.
Hmm.
So, unknowingly, unintentionally, we never taught him, but
Yeah.
he was learning.
Right. Right, right, right. So the thing that you just mentioned, na, ki his elder brother's friends would come. So one of my very close friend, so her younger brother also has Down syndrome. So we since fourth, like I think we were 8 or 9 years old, and since then we have seen him being a part of our life. So for us also, it was always like, okay, so okay, he's there, and we would also go and meet him first, and he would also be very excited. Okay, Shruti, just come and sit with me, and okay, so I did this, I did that, and then obviously with age, there came a point where he started, asking all of us, will you just marry me? Will you just marry me? So we would also,
Exactly.
be a part of that conversation. Yeah, yeah, just tell us how it is. And he would just sit with us. And I think it's more about, also giving them a space where you are not treating them differently. So I think me and my friends, everybody, we made sure that we are talking to him just as we would talk to anybody else. That don't put him in that box, or just let him be an individual.
Like what you said about the marriage part, he'll always want to say, Mama, when will I get married? I said, when the elder one gets married, then it'll be your turn. And for him, marriage means to be with the most comfortable person. So it's like, Mama, I want to marry you. They don't
Yeah, yeah.
understand. They're actually very, very pure. But these are all the lighter part of things that we talk about. But otherwise, the journey is extremely difficult because to explain people, the society, the everyone, it's
Yeah.
like people will come and say कि ये कर लो ठीक हो जाएगा कैसे कैसे हो सकता है टेक्नोलॉजी इतना हो गया है because that was my question also to the doctor I still remember is how much money would it take to make him okay
Hmm. Right.
because you feel that if because we talk of पैसा है तो medical treatment है इतना advancement हो रहा है
Right. Yeah.
but a genetic disorder surprisingly have no cure and you have to
Hmm.
live with it.
Yes.
And there are such peculiar features which now I realize that, why does Anshul have these kind of problems? Because he has a
Mhm.
long tongue. So his speech is a problem. Then his palate is very high. But certain things which we have taken for granted, like we have normal hands, we can talk normally, we can speak like any
Yeah.
other child, which are things we take for granted. But for Anshul, they are very, very big achievements or milestones which he cannot achieve. And but God has given them the power, like he has very good observation.
Yes, I'm sure.
And like he did not know what our house number was. He could not
Mhm.
speak, but
Mhm.
he could recognize that this is the house number. So God
Yeah.
has given him his other strengths. And with the kind of exposure that they have, they're becoming smarter. But again, we need that infrastructure where we have schools where they can have normal education like others, like what you spoke about just now. They also want to be like the other people. Do not
Yes.
want to be in a secluded school where there are just these special children going because they do
Yeah.
not feel that why should they be secluded?
Yes.
And when they are with the normal children, not everyone is open to it because we say that, we are sending our children to the best school means we want the best education. So why are these children
Mhm.
here with them? That
Mhm.
acceptance is not there. But yes, of course, in the living room, when we sit down, we talk about awareness, we talk about things are getting better, but that these talks are only for the living room.
So true.
They're not in reality outside when we as parents have to, look up for a lot of help. Because see, alone I, as a parent, cannot
Hmm.
do anything. And Anshul, as a child, and any other Down syndrome child or any other any other disability that I would
Hmm.
say,
Yeah.
you know what? They do not want that they are sent to a particular school and they learn
Hmm.
and they come back. No, they
Yeah.
also need help. And okay, fine for Anshul today, his world is his mother. But
Hmm.
he needs his own friends. He needs his own society. He needs also to go out like others, go to a coffee shop, sit down. So that acceptance is not there in the society. We talk of it, but it isn't there.
It isn't there. Absolutely. Rekha ji, here I would also like to talk about the part that your husband was away on duty. And so, my question here is that yes, we have talked about when you got to know and everything else that followed. But I would also particularly like to talk about this part, that being that your husband is away on duty, and where did you really get all the strength to sort of, carry it ahead, and what were on those particular days, or during that particular duration, what were the moments of joy and hope that sort of kept you going on?
Shruti, you know what happened? I remember that he was just 1 year old, and I always felt that, my life is going to come to a standstill because of him. So I decided that what do I want? I did wanted to work. So when he
Hmm.
was just 1 year old, I remember I picked up a job. And
Right.
then I got, because I still remember when somebody asked me when I was walking on the road with Anshul and my elder one, somebody asked me that, what happened? How are you handling it?
Hmm.
And like when we started the conversation, I got emotional. So, and those days, of course, I was at the peak of emotions. So I started crying. And then when got back home, I told myself, never again. This is the last time that I'm crying, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to be talking about it. I'm going to keep myself so busy that I don't get time to think about it at all.
Hmm.
So I picked up a job. I started focusing on my elder son's academics, and I started focusing on making Anshul, take step by step to his growth, like holding his head or holding his things. And I got so busy, and when I look back, I made myself like a robot, one after another thing, do this, do that, look after this. I got so involved in my house and my two boys that I had no time to think at all. No time to think at all that maybe meet my friends, laugh it out. Never spoke about Anshul to anyone then. People never asked, I never spoke about it. I realized that if you're happy, people around you are happy. Nobody wants to hear your problems. Nobody has time to hear your sorrows. So I decided no point, forget it. And to a great extent, I left it to God. I said, if He's given me Anshul. And now when I look at my journey,
Hmm.
if people closed 10 doors for me, God opened one. So there was always a door which was open for me with a lot of hope. And the day I would be on my downside,
Hmm.
something or the other, God sent me inspiration through someone.
Hmm.
It was as if, God is telling me, what is your problem? Nothing. There are
Yeah.
people worse than you. And I'll relate an incident here. I remember when we were in Ahmednagar and I was teaching in one school,
Hmm.
I was very upset that one of those days when you're, like you said, one of those days when you're low.
Yeah.
And I was standing for the school assembly and I saw a boy in one corner, absolutely a naughty boy.
Hmm.
The teacher had given him punishment, raise your hand and stand and all. And I realized only he had raised one hand. So
Okay.
I wondered, where is the other hand and all? Then I realized something, I thought, forget it. If
Hmm.
he's, wanting to sham out, leave it. And it so happened that I'd got a substitution in his class that day. And he comes to me and he said, Ma'am, I want to sharpen my pencil.
Hmm.
I said, okay, go. And
Hmm.
I realized that he did not have the lower limb in his hand. And there was just a fold here. And he had put his pencil here in the sharpener and he was sharpening. And the kind of confidence he had and I say I owe it to the parents. So that
Right.
was my first, and there were many, many more incidents. Like it was, God sent me a signal. You see, what is your problem? Look at this boy. And
Yeah.
that is what motivated me that if I am a confident mother, I am a confident parent, that confidence will reflect on my child. because that child wouldn't have been so confident had his parents not made him feel like that. So, Shruti, even now, the year back, 1 year back, I remember there was this days where I said, "Oh my God, my I've also developed pain in my bones, and Anshul is also getting difficult. What to do and all." Again, God sent me a kind of a message through one of the child. "Okay, look at what do you
Yeah.
have? Problems? Nothing. Still, at least God has given Anshul hands, legs. He moves around. There are a lot of people who are worse off when you look around. So there was always a hope. And Anshul gave me unconditional love. He could read my face and could make out that today you're upset. He would just come and cuddle and say, Mama, I love you. And you
Hmm.
forget. And I realized that he made me smile so much more than any other child would have. So
Right.
there was hope at every step, and every day there was hope.
Rekha ji, now I want to sort of get into for our audience who don't really understand the topic that we are actually discussing. So, could you, for our listeners, for our audience, tell them what exactly is Down syndrome and what are the, maybe, how it affects and what are the changes, what are the challenges? Majorly, yes, let's talk about Down syndrome.
In scientific language, Down syndrome is a trisomy 21, where
Mm-hmm.
the 21st chromosome actually becomes triple. We all have only double X chromosomes, but it is trisomy 21. That affects his mental and physical health. It also affects his organs, and everything is delayed. Basically, delayed milestones. It will happen, but when we do not know because it's different for different. No down to Down syndrome children are similar. Then at the same time, it is mental and physical retardation.
Mm-hmm.
Like in simple terms, if I explain, Anshul cannot say 1 to 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He hasn't learned it till now. But the
Mm-hmm.
other day, I met a girl who could actually write sentences.
Hmm.
So, like, no two Down syndrome children are similar. So, we cannot actually categorize. Yes, but they have mental retardation. Their speech is not clear at all. They cannot speak sentences. And but at the same time, they do convey their feelings in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
But like a lot of people have heart problems, lung problems, their organs are definitely on the weaker side.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just say that it is not easy for us to diagnose it. The doctors only can diagnose the problem. And it is diagnosed if, of course, you have some history, or, of course, now with the kind of technology that we have. I feel everyone should get a test done when the child is in the womb itself. That I hope the child is fine, because very easy to say we would not like to terminate the pregnancy. Yes, no mother wants to do it, but it is a challenge in itself to bring up a special child. It is not easy. Now, when I look back, yes, everybody says it's been, oh my God, Anshul is doing so well now, and but the insights to everybody wants to show their best. So I
Mm-hmm.
also showcase my best about Anshul to everyone. It is not easy. It is extremely difficult at every step.
Right. Rekha ji, here I would like to ask you one thing. So, we are living in a society where, as of now, the words that we use, inclusions and this and that. And recently, in past few years, people refrain from using the word disability or
Absolutely.
the word retard because yes, the society is sort of being conscious in that way, but at the same time there are a lot of people who still use these words. So I want to understand your perspective because from our conversation, you are saying it as it is. You are not really sugarcoating. You are not really putting a quote on it. Ki, acha nahi, we won't call it this. We won't call it that. So what is your take on this? I just want to understand how does it make you feel, or does it make you feel anything, or something on those lines.
See, mental retardation, as such, when you talk about, it's a very negative, it has a negative connotation, yes. But their mental faculties are on the slower side. Yes,
Hmm.
we call them specially abled because
Right.
every person born on this earth has some or the other quality where, it is just for us to nurture.
Hmm.
So, if I talk about Anshul, he has an ability in itself where, like, he's working today. So he has that ability. That is why he is there where he is today. So,
Yes.
okay, fine. Everybody cannot be into IIT or might be a doctor. Everybody cannot get into the best of the university. There are other normal people also. So why label them?
Right, right.
Absolutely, we should not label them. But sometimes what happens is, like when I use these words, is
Mm-hmm.
because uh, as parents of these specially able children, we understand that yes, these are the words. This is actually the reality.
Yes, yes, yes.
So the reality cannot be hidden from anyone. The
Right.
challenge remains. Anshul cannot sit down and write, I am Anshul. I am
Mm-hmm.
23 years old. He cannot sit down and write that. But of
Yeah.
course, I've taught him how to write his name, Anshul Yadav. He can write that.
Yeah.
But can he write anything more than that? He cannot. He cannot
Mm-hmm.
explain to anyone that I'm living over here in sector this, in Gurgaon.
Mm-hmm.
He cannot.
Yeah.
So, though, like what I said, his observation skills are very good. The cab driver cannot fool him. He cannot take him anywhere. Anshul
Mm-hmm.
knows the routes. But the point is am I ready to send Anshul by cab alone? No. Irrespective of the fact that cabs are safe, I can track
Mm-hmm.
him. But what
Yeah.
if the tracker doesn't work?
Yeah.
What if he takes him somewhere? So
Right.
that safety, if I talk about, I cannot leave. Otherwise, a normal 23-year-old son, boy can definitely work anywhere or even go abroad and manage it. Anshul cannot.
Mm-hmm.
Anshul cannot be left alone even at home. He has to be left with an attendant. So that is why I would say that these words, yes, we talk about them, yes, fine. But a reality of a parent is we do have our own challenges.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rekha ji. I would really like to, before we move ahead, I would really like to thank you for being so honest in this discussion and for not really, sugarcoating anything. You are putting it ahead as it is. You're not just showing a rosy picture. You're not just showing ki, okay, so this is how it is, da da da. You are actually talking about your journey, the challenges, and the reality of it all. So thank you. Genuinely thank you for actually having a conversation.
Thank you, Shruti. And you fulfilled my long time desire because I always wanted to. So many times when I used to have problems, I used to want to, sit down and write a novel. But never got on to doing it because we start something with a lot of enthusiasm, but
Mhm.
it fizzles out. But thank you for giving me this opportunity. At least somewhere I could bring out or say things which might be I've never done it in this journey ever to anyone. So thank you so much, Shruti, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Absolutely, Rekha ji. I am just so glad that we are sitting and having this conversation because I think these things they need to be talked about. And so talking about Shruti Out Loud podcast, it is about way of life. And we need to talk about these things. We need to talk about the reality of it all. So yes, on that note, my next question from you is, so for Anshul, obviously, the stairs and the social challenges must have been a part of his journey and the misconceptions that come with it, the other kids, how they are being around him. So, how did all of that really shape his confidence? And how did you help him understand what all you could?
Like what I said before, I treated him like my how I would have brought up my elder one. But yes, my husband being in the
Hmm.
army was the biggest support because people around being a small community, people came to help, and I could actually, the cantonments are quite safe. So I
Hmm.
could actually leave Anshul. It was not that, he had to be left with an attendant there. So
Right.
it was safe leaving Anshul in the cantonments. And at the same time, I made friends who could actually talk about it. And people made me aware about a lot of things. And he being in small cities, it so happened that, we got him admission in schools which were renowned.
Hmm.
So he got normal education like the others. So all this helped him. And at the same time, the army fraternity, I would say, helped him in gaining the confidence because, we have these small get togethers and all where we took him everywhere. And nobody had an objection to
Right.
it because it was okay, fine, Anshul. So the kind of love that he gained from, and he's one child ki aisa, he will, जो उसको निकालना है आपसे प्यार अपने लिए वो निकाल लेगा. He got a lot of love from everyone, So that shaped his confidence. And I took him everywhere that I could. He's
Hmm.
studying in the best of Delhi public schools.
Yeah.
So that also gave him a lot of confidence. I would give a lot of credit to the principals and the teachers and the
Hmm.
schools that where he studied, because it was impossible, like what I said, alone as a mother, I could have done nothing had I not had the support of the society. So there were a lot of people in this journey who actually helped me nurture or bring up Anshul the way he is today. It is not, and the only people who pull you down, I started realizing, ignore them.
Yes. 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 Yes.
So let them be fine. They're also important to tell me to do a good job again. Fine, it'll
Yeah.
happen. So that happened and we moved on.
Right. I think, that is one thing that everybody should really learn, that, throughout your life, you will find people who will find a reason to pull you down, to criticize you, to one thing or the other. Like, they will find something. And, if everything is also still going well, they will still find something. And these people are just reminders for you that koi baat nahi, maybe they are seeing something, and possibly, there is a scope of working on ourselves. So let's just, take it with a grain of salt, and let's not let them affect us, and let's keep them at a distance as well, but at the same time learn from what they said. That's it.
Yes, they helped me shape up Anshul in a better way. Like what you said, when anybody criticizes you, also see what positive he's left for you. That helped, yes.
Absolutely.
But of course, 2014 when I moved to NCR,
Hmm.
suppose that staying in NCR, awareness, meeting people with
Hmm.
these kind of disabilities, that also helps. Living in a metro helps.
Yes. Having a community that definitely sort of, gives you a place, a safe place where you can actually talk, where you can be understood, and wherein possibly you can also get some suggestions, which otherwise it might not, you might not find the right people, because yeah, the right community helps.
I learned a lot after coming from Gurgaon from people. I studied a lot. There was so much that I could learn from people. So I learned a lot after coming to Gurgaon. Yes.
Right. Okay, so Rekhaji, here, before moving on to the next section, I would like to ask you to give some advice to overwhelmed parents, because, yes, let's face it, it is an overwhelming journey, and how to move forward with hope and positivity.
I would just say believe in your child and believe in yourself. And believe me, there is hope at the end of the road, because there is no child who has come on this earth who will not do anything. They will all do something for themselves. And at the end of the day, they will make us proud. And
Definitely.
if you ask me today, yes, I used to wonder when he was born, why did I have a child like Anshul? And I used to ask questions to myself every time, why me?
Yeah.
But God has given me all the answers. I suppose I needed all the love. I suppose, like what you said, people say that, God has given you a child like this because He knows that you can bring them up. You know
Hmm.
that you can do it. Not everybody can do it. Not
So,
everybody can become a mother of a specially able child. It's not easy. Believe in your child, and most important, believe in yourself, because if you do not believe in yourself, the child will never get the confidence, and he will do something for himself. And only thing is, let them be independent. Like I hear parents whose children are grown up and they're still giving, looking after the child. I don't do anything for Anshul at present. He takes his bath on his own, he dresses up on his own, he
hmm.
irons his own clothes, he packs up his own clothes. I don't do anything. So he's an independent soul. Yes, I do check on it, that I hope all is
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But believe me, give them the independence and they'll shine.
Absolutely. Rekhaji, here I would like to now talk about Anshul's journey of your training at a prestigious hotel. So, how did you nurture his independence and confidence?
See, when he was born, and I remember seeing one of my friends as a part of the Para Olympics. So I always used to think, I'll get him into Special Olympics and he's going to go there. And because I was never a sports person, so I always wanted
Right.
Anshul to do that, but it never happened. So I said, let it be.
Mm-hmm.
Then COVID happened.
Mm-hmm.
And during the COVID, it was just me and him. in the house, and both of us had to divide the household chores. We had no choice. And that is when I started training him for laying the table and everything. In fact, what I should not take the credit, I suppose Anshul wanted to help me out. He is one child who never wanted me to be in trouble. So he always said, Mama, come. He learned me to how to make tea because I love tea.
Okay.
So he decided to learn things on his own. And that is when the opportunity came where there was a pilot project program where they could actually be trained in the F&B.
Mm-hmm.
So he did the 6 months course, and there was an exam I remember online. He was very particular about how he's giving, presenting himself, and he cleared that. Might be like COVID helped us learn a lot of things. COVID
Mm-hmm.
helped me understand what Anshul was, what was his skill set, what he was
Mm-hmm.
good at, and we both never got bored of each other. We never watched TV, Shruti, surprisingly, imagine.
Yeah.
COVID time, both of us never ever watched TV because we were so happy with each other. I was busy with my work, and whatever time I had, I was so busy teaching him things, and
Yeah.
he was so busy helping me that we enjoyed each other's company.
Mm-hmm.
And that made me understand him more. Like to the extent, Shruti, if I give you an example here, just one incident. I remember sitting on the laptop, and I'm a teacher. I my class went on for a long time. I suppose it was 2 hours or something. And I started getting fidgety and I started moving my legs
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to go to the washroom.
Yeah.
So suddenly I realized that some relief on my feet. What happened? He actually was observing me and he came and started pressing my feet. And I was like, my God. So at every stage, I got an answer to my question, why me? I never
Yeah.
thought he'll work. But he started working at an age when he was just 19, which even normal children do not do.
Mm.
सपना देखो अपने बच्चों के लिए वो पूरा करेंगे. So
बिल्कुल.
Anshul fulfilled all my dreams, which I don't think a normal child would have for me. For me, I talk about. Though touch wood, God has been kind. My both the children are doing well. But that is what I say that मैंने तो सपना बहुत छोटा देखा था that अंशुल इंडिपेंडेंट हो जाए. But
Yeah.
भगवान ने
Absolutely. Rekha ji, can you talk about the role of Muskan in Anshul's journey?
I don't think Anshul would have been there where he is today had it not been for Muskan. Because yes, he studied in the normal schools. Yes, fine. He learned how to behave himself, how to sit down, how to everything. But in India, where we lack is teachers who are specialized to
Mm-hmm.
understand them and train them in their particular field. Now, these special children, some of them, like Muskan, has different units where they make masalas, they do baking courses, they do candle making. So they are the ones actually who tapped Anshu's potential that he's good at the food and beverages
Mm-hmm.
department. They are the
Mm-hmm.
ones who did it, not me. I never thought, Muskan made me a dream that he can work in a hotel.
Yeah.
In fact, I still remember when he moved to the hotel, his teacher actually cried. And I was so touched. I said, imagine aaj ke zamane mein a teacher crying
Yeah.
that its child, she was happy for him. But she
Mhm.
said that I'm going to miss him.
Yeah.
And the kind of dedication of teachers that I've seen over there,
Mm-hmm.
we also get upset, or I mean, I'm a teacher. I do get upset if a child is troubling me. But imagine them handling these kind of children where, they do not have the patience. They train them.
Right.
And they have an amazing set of teachers where they're so patient, so calm, so understanding. And I have never seen them, upset about something or getting anxious about it. Or ye bacche ye nahi kar rahe hain. I've never seen them getting angry at them. Yeah, kabhi gussa hi nahi aaya.
Right.
So very patient and handling all of us as parents who are as it is at the emotional peak. हम
Mm-hmm.
सबको भी संभालना हमारे बच्चों को संभालना it's not easy, and they're doing a fantabulous job.
Mm-hmm.
That is why I say that NCR, moving to NCR was a great help to me.
Right.
Even the
Absolutely.
drivers who take them in the vans to this Muskan, the drivers have that compassion in them, the way they
Yes.
look after them. You know, I never thought कि ऐसे लोग भी होते हैं, but they're very good people.
Absolutely. The things that you're saying that, I really don't have anything to say in response to it because what you are saying is absolutely right. And it's more like, जैसे, it is because you can handle something like this that God sent you a special child. Similarly, I think God also sort of makes sure that you find the right people in your life who are compassionate, who have that in them to, yes, we are there for you.
मैंने कहा ना, जैसे people close 10 doors for you, God
Yes,
opens one. And that door is only with good people around.
absolutely right.
I suppose, like what I said, na, Anshul wouldn't have been here today had it not been for these people. And there's so many of them. I cannot even name, because if I start naming, the list is endless.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so Rekha ji, next I want to talk to you about, so what have been some of the toughest moments for Anshul that you saw him struggling with? And but obviously with the this thing that he will find a way, but it sort of also it just tears your heart a little that my child is sort of facing this situation. It is a tough thing and I know he will come out of it, but it was just that moment which sort of breaks your heart.
I remember when he was just, I think must be 2, 3 years old. I don't even remember his exact age. And people used to call my elder son for birthday parties.
Mm-hmm.
They never used to call him. And fine, I would not tell Anshul that where is he gone. But there was a time when my neighbor on my top had called my elder one for the birthday party and didn't call Anshul. And I couldn't explain to Anshul
Mm-hmm.
that why you've not been called. He said, why not me, Mama? The Down syndrome children are called musical idiots because they're so fond of music. You
Right.
know, because Anshul used to wake up like this. I used to wake him up with music because he would wake up only jab gaane lagenge. So he would dance up, dancing, and he would get up like that. ऊपर music बज रहा है and he
Hmm.
can't go. So how
Yeah.
do you explain to the child? In my journey over here, there's a very famous song of तुझसे नाराज नहीं जिंदगी हैरान
Hmm.
हूं मैं. I used to hear this song every day 10 times because I could relate to the song. It's like तेरे मासूम सवालों का मैं क्या जवाब दूं?
Right, right.
It's like Anshul asking me questions which I had no answer to. And I cannot change anyone in the society. I can only change myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I can only change Anshul's thought process.
Right.
So Anshul had to change.
Yeah.
The society will not change for him. I had to tell Anshul that why people are not calling you. I had no answer.
Hmm.
Why people are behaving with you like this, I had no answer.
Yeah.
I remember my own relatives, and they're telling that, I remember my niece getting married, and Anshul loves flowers. So he started making rangoli because they have this creative side on them. And he
Yes, yes.
started, and I remember one of them coming and saying, take Anshul away from the marriage. He's spoiling the rangoli.
Hmm.
And I had to sit there because I was a very,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm. Right.
but nobody understands that. And I had to tell Anshul, like, get up and come back. He said, why can't I? And there's
Yeah.
another normal, the so-called normal child, I would say, is playing, and nobody and everybody's okay with it. And mothers are clicking pictures of what he's doing.
So
But
true.
Anshul is not allowed to do it. Right? Then things like, if Anshul will touch a girl, yeah, they are normal. They also have normal feelings. If he'll go and hug a child, complains that Anshul is touching a girl.
Yeah, yeah.
So I tell Anshul every day, don't touch girls, stay away from girls. But
Hmm.
how do you tell the child he also has normal feelings?
Exactly.
And how do you tell? I'm not saying that Anshul will do all wrong things only, no?
Mm-hmm.
But uska bhi man karta hai. Now what happens is, I tell him, anybody wanting to shake hand, just do namaste. And if any
Hmm.
uncle wants, shake their hands.
Right,
So
right.
how do you explain this? But again, I cannot change anyone but him.
Yeah,
So I had to change him. I had to tutor him that
yeah.
Anshul nahi, please, फिर आपको डांट पड़े. And the only thing he can't see, Shruti, is me crying. There are times that when
Hmm.
where I faced challenges where people had covered told me, see, Anshul did this, and I cried. And I never had to tell Anshul, I'm upset because of you. He understood. He said, okay,
Hmm.
Mama, I will not do, but you don't cry, please.
Yeah.
So he was very sensitive. He understood it before I said,
Right.
you know, आसान नहीं था. बट मुश्किल भी नहीं था, नाउ व्हेन आई लुक बैक.
Thank you for saying that, Rekha ji. Seriously, thank you for saying that. I think that is the message that I was just, about to actually ask you before we end the session. But let's again, address this last part that I want you to say. Ki, what is that one message that you want to sort of, give to society at large?
Question of why me? That answer you will get after a few years. That why me? Difficult, but at the end of the road, there's happiness definitely. So you are the chosen one, and God will answer all your questions. Believe in Him.
Thank you, Rekha ji. Now we have a quick question, quick answer session before we end the episode. And I think you will like answering these questions. So, okay, so Anshul's favorite activity or hobby?
Loves dancing on Punjabi numbers.
Okay.
Loves them.
All right. Okay, so next one is, what is that moment with Anshul that will always make you smile?
The first step when he took the first step, I can never forget it. Was so happy that he's taken the first step, and I remember it was at 12 of the night. I made him walk again and again, and we both just laughed and laughed and laughed. Something that we take for granted.
Yeah,
It was the happiest moment in my life. I can close my eyes and it all comes back.
revisit it again and again.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so one thing that you have learned from Anshul that changed your life.
Love everyone unconditionally. It comes back to you.
All right.
Love everyone.
And the last one is, if Anshul could describe you in one word, what do you think it would be?
My mama, like he says, my mama. You are my mama. If I say I'm Bhai's mama, he gets upset. You are my mama only.
All right. Okay. On that note, Rekha ji, we are finishing this episode, but it was so lovely to have this conversation with you. Thank you again. I'll say thank you once again for opening yourself up and just being who you are, talking about the journey just as it is. And also, I think you have answered questions for a lot of people who might be on the same journey or who might have been on the same journey. And this will just, sort of give them a comfortable, that comfortable place that, okay, this feels like my own. So thank you so much.
If my story can relate with anyone, and it will relate with a lot of people, I think I've touched the chord. Thank you so much, Shruti, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you,
Thank you
Rekha
so
ji.
much.
Thank you so much.